I'll be presenting the role of information in communication technology in disaster preparedness. So the use of information communication technology has emerged in different industries like healthcare, finance, education, manufacturing, and in forecasting. ICT plays an important role in these industries to develop sustainable and resistant infrastructure. So developing an early warning system can be a major role in disaster preparedness and response. So the primary phases of disaster management, which was also discussed yesterday, are preparedness, response, recovery, and mitigation. Wherein first we need to prepare, protect ourselves, give great importance in an event during an emergency or disaster. And then response, where there is an actual occurrence, administer first aid, get medical attention for victims, and recovery, after these things under control, begin a cleanup or repair any damage if necessary. And then mitigation is finally as how this disaster or accident or emergency happen and how can any problems that occurred in handling the incident be lessened. So, where does information technology comes in when it comes to disaster preparedness? So, it can be in detection and analysis of the risk, sending of warning signals, recording and analysis of data, so awareness, helps predict the effects of the impact. So we can also use GIS and design of network infrastructure. So GIS, this was the one that was explained by Professor Nabi here. Okay. So I have here a case study, the Indian Ocean Tsunami of 2004. It was published in the Information and Communication Technologies for Disaster Risk Management in the Caribbean of the Economic Commission for Latin America and Caribbean. So, a review of the tragic Indian Ocean tsunami that occurred in the Boxing Day of 2004 presents a warning of how inadequate knowledge management practices can obstruct early warnings and impending danger. It also demonstrates the potential for ICT technologies in a post-disaster scenario. So when a megatrust earthquake occurred under the ocean west of Sumatra, it was quickly detected by instruments located around the world. Seismologists at the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Hawaii predicted a major tsunami, but there were no direct channels to communicate a warning to policymakers, local decision makers, and to the populations of endangered communities. Over 200,000 of people were killed in the tsunami. Perhaps 10,000 would have been saved if there had been ICT systems available to spread the warning in time. So following the disaster, ICT became recognized as an essential component of rescue and response to operations. The widespread use of mobile phones and the internet facilitated relief efforts by enabling coordination of humanitarian aid organizations and volunteers via SMS or the short messaging system and email. These technologies enable people to contact their families after the disaster. And the posting of digital photos on the internet was helpful in identifying injured people and lost children. Donations were also requested through websites of aid agencies, and individual contributions were collected through electronic transfer in real time. So, the applications of IT or ICT in disaster preparedness are these technologies: use of GIS, remote sensing, internet, communication technology, big data, network infrastructure, and security. So, what is GIS, or the Geographic Information Systems? Geographic Information System is a computer-based tool that analyzes or stores, manipulates, and visualizes the geographic information, usually in a map. It is a system designed to capture, analyze, or present spatial or geographic data. So you can do queries, you can manage the data, you can analyze the information that was collected and display it on a map or on a graph. So the specific application in the field of assessment are hazard mapping to show earthquake, landslide, flood, and fire hazard areas. However, in case of failure of the GIS system in affected area by a thunderstorm or flood-like natural disaster, disaster management group has to take on the physical data of the GIS in the pre-failure state. So we can extract the information before the GIS failed that can help us also analyze the data or in a post-failure scenario of the geographic information system. So, in disaster management, Hurricane Katrina is seen by many as the first time that GIS was used as a disaster management tool. Thanks to the newly available technology that the first responders on the ground shared a great deal of data about the street plans, particularly the streets that were and were not accessible and the extent of the flooding. So, remote sensing, this is getting or makes observation of any object without the physical contact to the site. So, right now we have drones, we have robots that can be deployed on the site. We can gather data faster than a ground-based observation. So, by doing this, we will not risk the lives of the responder. So, remote sensing also can cover a large area at a given time. So this is the process of recording the information such as photographs and satellite images through the use of sensors at aircrafts. So this is an example of a website developed by the Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines. It's called the Project NOAA. Here in Project NOAA, it can detect or predict the amount of rain that will happen. So there is the DOST, they have new project again. They call it ULA. This time, instead of rain, they will analyze the thunderstorm and lightning. What is the effect to typhoons? So another technology that we can use is the internet. Because the internet provides a platform for information sharing and dissemination. It can create discussion, groups or webinars for disaster management and mitigation. So most of the agencies are now publishing books, reports, guidelines, journal, newsletter electronically, and many are accessible to everyone. So some examples of electronic conferences are what we are doing right now. We are on a conference, and then Professor Daryl have a live feed on Skype. So this is a living example of using this internet and the communication technology. So the most popular here are the radio, use of mobile phones and SMS, social media and messaging apps. The radio technology has long been a staple of disaster management using the UHF or the ultra-high frequency, because if all the other technology fails, it's only the radio that we can use. Like for example, if all cell sites are being washed up, or no signals, no internet communication, it's only the UHF radio that can be used as a medium to support the voice communication. So through mobile technology, it can support voice, text, and broadband data communication as long as we have signal. Another technology in mobile phones is the cell broadcasting. Cell broadcasting has several advantages over SMS. Instead of being a one-to-one, and SMS is a one-to-one communication, cell broadcasting sends messages on a one-to-many basis. So I'll just type one message and then send to many. This is one feature that we can use on our mobile phones. Another is the big data. So big data can play a significant role in enhancing our capabilities through or to manage disasters. Because from the Wikipedia, the definition is, it is a field that treads ways to analyze, systematically extract information from and otherwise deal with data sets that are too large or complex to be dealt with traditional data processing application software. So the problem is sometimes if we have too much data, no one analyzes it. So that is another challenge for us. We gather too much data, but there are only few that analyzes those data. So we can also do crisis mapping. So an example, Tsunami, a non-profit company that creates an open source software for gathering information. They developed and utilized an interactive mapping platform in 2008 that plotted violent areas following the Kenyan presidential election. So they gathered information from eyewitness sources via online platforms and plotted them on Google Maps to help those in danger navigate their way to safety. Ushahidi was experimenting with crisis mapping, the real-time creation and display of reports submitted through email, text message, and social media on interactive geographical maps. They implemented it again during the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, and it resulted in many victims being rescued by the first responders. The U.S. Marine Corps, who was the first on the scene, felt that the crisis mapping assisted them in quickly locating and recovering the victims. So technology can also connect missing people with their families. Companies like Google, Facebook are also interested in helping communities during emergency situations, particularly in reducing recovery time. They have implemented online systems specific to connecting people with their loved ones during and after the disasters in real time. So immediately following the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, Google released its Person Finder feature that allows for an immediate way to reconnect post-disaster. So big data systems are making it easier for agencies to forecast when disaster will occur. This advanced information allows agencies to prepare communities for emergencies and protect them from threats. Another important technology is the network infrastructure and design. It can be an on-premise versus off-premise. Backup is critical, and digitization. So why is this critical in times of disaster preparedness? So data backup is critical because disasters, both human and natural, happen. It's a fact of life, and when they happen, your mission-critical data can get lost permanently, or you can recover some, but again, there will be loss of data. So the questions like, do you have a backup? Some will say yes. So the following question, where is your backup located? In the server room. So what if a fire hit your office? The backup will be destroyed. Some will say, no, we have a fireproof walls. So what if a tsunami hit your location? So these are the questions. One example that happened in Tacloban from the Typhoon Haiyan, or we call it the Philippines, Typhoon Yolanda. Most offices, most of the establishments, their data has been wiped out, especially the paper ones. So they don't have any backup. All we have to do is to look for the other offices in Metro Manila if, like for example, the copy of their birth certificates. So backup is really critical. The solution for this is a digitization of those records. We need to convert those paper into a digital record so we can upload it through the cloud, or let's have an off-site backup. So an off-site backup, it can be from one location located to another location, or located on the cloud. But in the Philippines, cloud computing is not that popular because of poor internet connection. If you're going to transfer big data on the web, it will really take you some time. That's why in our country, we set the backup time at 8 o'clock p.m. when no one uses the network. So it could be very fast. But if you do it on a working hour, no, it will take those transfer long. So in summary, information and communication technology, or ICT, has been identified as an integral part of disaster management. At the same time, the development of the information management system continues to increase. There are different tools that can inform people about hazards, help in assessing the damage, collect information, coordinate the activities to motivate people. A multi-channel approach inclusive of a more traditional system, such as siren systems and radio, will be required as a means of maximizing the possibility. Because if all this technology fails, we should have, or we can go back to the traditional system. Like, for example, no network, no signal. Our phones don't have any signal. So how are we going to warn the people? So we can go back to the traditional siren system or the UHF radio. So disaster awareness and preparedness is the effective way of mitigating the impact of future disasters. So that would be all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I think it's also interesting in some countries. So in Arizona, where we're located, we need to keep the records by law for perpetuity. Perpetuity, for those who don't know English, means forever. That's a legal requirement. We keep for perpetuity all student records, signature sheets, attendance sheets. I need to keep for perpetuity. So that's a big requirement. And yet, if we have a fire, then of course they're accepting now to digitize because it's safer. Those who have questions or comments?
How about Dropbox?
Please, first, please.
No, just I want to ask
Yeah.
a question to you.
Yes, please.
How you keep the information forever? Do you have any place for all of them?
In heaven, maybe? It's a good question, but yes, we have a fireproof safe in 2 different states and on the computer, on several different computers. So actually, I have an interesting story. So the day before I was meant to submit my PhD thesis in 1987, the main computer at the Medical Research Council lab of molecular biology, which is a very big lab in the United Kingdom, in Britain, it cracked. It was a large old disk, so all the computer system physically cracked. It was a large disk. So I had to retype over immediately for 30 hours non-stop from the previous version. But they had magnetic tape versions, so about a week later, the magnetic tape backup from a few weeks before. But that's the backup they've done. But nowadays, we keep them in different locations, both electronically and physical copy. And I actually have fireproof safes into both in Arizona and California. And electronic records in Bangkok, in California, in Arizona, and in Japan. So the student records should be safe, safer than me.
Yeah, the backup is to have a backup and another backup.
Did you have a question?
I was saying, how about the Dropbox? You know, the Dropbox, can you put our data there in the Dropbox?
Dropbox, you can use Dropbox.
Yeah.
But I think the size of the Dropbox.
Yeah, you have to buy more space.
Yeah.
But because I put in a lot of data there, and I have a hard disk, another hard disk, where I transfer All my computer data there.
Yes, yes. You can use the external hard drive.
Yeah,
But
that's
again, the external hard drive is vulnerable.
yeah.
So you need to have
Yeah.
either a cloud or another backup.
Yeah, one interesting thing is I studied in the University of Hawaii for my PhD. So some of the courses I needed the transcripts to continue my PhD with David. And I wrote to the head of the department and I gave her a copy of the original, the first semester's transcript. And she was shocked. She said, this has been gone for more than 10 years. It was pink in color. So let's see what we can dig up. So she tried and tried, and at last she got my transcripts, all my transcripts. And I was amazed that all of them were in the original form. So they have to keep it. So thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions, anyone? Ananya? Yes, please.
I just curious thinking about the security in iCloud, in Dropbox, in OneDrive or Google Drive is safe.
As long as you need to encrypt your data, you need to have an encryption software. So when you transfer your data in the cloud, it is encrypted. So you need encryption software that can convert those meaningful information into a not meaningful information. So when a hacker intercept that information, they will not see anything.
So it's like an encryption code.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your key. Encryption key, okay. Okay, well, any other comments? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dennis, thank you.